Hello guys, and welcome back to the DocMack car channel, and today what I'm going to show you is how to replace the spark plugs on any vehicle. Now there are different types of engines, and I'm going to also get into that and how you can determine where your spark plugs are as well. So without further ado, let's get into that, but consider subscribing for free if you haven't already. I've got a lot of car how-to DIY videos. This specific engine is a 4-cylinder engine. Now you've got 4-cylinder, 5-cylinder, 6-cylinder, 8-cylinder, a V10 and a V12 as well. Now this particular one is a 4-cylinder, so if you follow your air intake system all the way here and all the way here, that goes to your intake plenum, and that goes into where your cylinder head is. Now the cylinder head is here, and your spark plugs are mounted onto the cylinder head. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to unscrew this one, and this is just a 10mm socket. And then we just need to remove this cover. Alright guys, so this is your ignition coil and this is your ignition wire. So what happens is this one is actually plugged in, and what you're going to do is squeeze this pinch clip and then pull out, and that's your ignition wire. So this is what you call your ignition coil. And then what we're going to do is get this one unscrewed. It's a 10mm as well. Pull out the ignition coil like so. Alright guys, so this is the spark plug for cylinder number 1, and I'm going to undo it. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is take my magnetic spark plug socket. Alright, and there you go. You have got your IFR 6T11 NGK iridiums. So now what you're going to do is you're going to inspect the tip of this plug between the electrode, and if it's frosty white, that means it's running too rich and it's burnt by fuel, and you got to check the gap as well. Now there's spark plug gapping tools out there which you can check. You can actually put it in between and check that it meets the specification. But these spark plugs are relatively cheap to get, so if I were you, I would invest in replacing the spark plugs. Alright guys, so that's how you remove a spark plug, and I'm going to put this one back in now. Roll it back in. And what you're going to do is you're going to finger tighten it first. And then to replace your spark plug, what you're going to do is you've got your 5/8, and this is what you call a click style torque wrench. Now these are quite inexpensive to buy. They do set you back at about at least $50 to $100 for an entry-level one. When it comes to changing your spark plugs, it is very important that you do stick to the specifications of the manufacturer in terms of the Newton meters or the foot-pounds. So for this vehicle, I need 25 Newton meters. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push it up to 25. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten it. Okay, and then there you go. So it's 25 Newton meters. You need to make sure that whenever you do it, it is within specification. If not, then your engine may run quite poorly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the ignition coil back in. Make sure it seats properly. And then you want to sit this one back in. Okay, so with this specific nut, it's 10 Newton meters that you need to plug it back in, screw it back in, and then you're going to plug the ignition coil back in. So now that once this is fitted back in, we're going to start the vehicle up. Alright guys, and now I'm going to put this one back in here. Okay, and there's no specific torque settings for this nut, it's just holding on the plastic cover for the engine. Alright guys, job done.